Hello, everyone. I want to take a few minutes on how to complete a reflection survey. Should take you at most 5 or 10 minutes to complete a reflection survey for a particular week. Here's a made-up example of reflections for week 11. The reflection survey will be over sections 11.2 and 11.3. There are a total of 5 questions. First 2 questions are multiple choice. Questions 3 and 4 are short answer. You need a couple sentences there to explain it. Here's the grading rubric for questions 3 and 4. Uh, to give satisfactory complete, you want to use appropriate language that's effective, accurate, and thorough to answer the question. Response is concise, easy to read and understand. There are a minimal number of grammar or spelling errors, and each sentence includes a subject and verb. Um, Unsatisfactory completion would be if the response is off task, off topic, illegible, blank, consists of one word answer, or does not hardly make any sense in regards to the question. And keep in mind, all 5 questions here on this reflection quiz are going to be essay questions. So each of them will have to be manually graded by your instructor, by me. And usually we'll get them done within 2 business days. So let's take a look at an example. And so in this particular sample, the reflection surveys over section 11.2 and 11.3. Those modules were the least common denominator and adding and subtracting fractions with different denominators. So question 1, multiple choice A, B, C, or D. Prior to this week's homework assignments, how prepared did you feel you were for doing the homework assignments in the following module? And maybe you felt like, I was completely well prepared. If you felt like you were somewhat prepared, you could put B. If you felt like you were somewhat unprepared, put C. Or D if you felt like you was completely unprepared. So again, just A, B, or C. So here I put A. Now that you've completed this week's modules, how did you feel about how you managed your learning for this week's material? And again, choice A, B, C, or D. I felt I managed my time very effectively, somewhat ineffectively, or I did not manage my learning at well at all. So again, here, answer A, B, C, or D. So maybe you felt like it was B. I felt I managed my learning somewhat effectively. Question C would be, would you change anything how you manage your learning this week? If yes, what would you do differently for the next week? If no, why not? So just answer yes or no, and then why. So maybe you say, yes, I would start work on the assignments early in the week and practice learning my multiplication tables. Again, just 1 or 2 sentences. We don't need a novel here. Question 4, how do you feel, or what do you feel are the top 2 or 3 most important mathematical concepts in these modules and why? So you just need to identify. So you want to be looking at your modules and ask yourself, what were the top 2 or 3 mathematical concepts I learned from these modules and why? So maybe you felt like it was finding the least common denominator and building the fractions so they have the same denominator. So you could say something along the lines, the 2 most important concepts are find the least common denominator and building fractions so they have the denominators equal. These 2 concepts are necessary for adding and subtracting fractions with different denominators. So we identified the concepts and the reason why they are important. The last question is, what topics or concepts, if any, from the modules are you still struggling with to understand and or to apply? So if there's nothing that you're struggling with, you can say none. And then you can move on. If there is something, you can then state it. And then do you want your instructor to contact you concerning the concepts of these modules? If yes, your instructor will send an email to your Canvas inbox unless you otherwise specify. So maybe your response might be, yeah, I'm kind of still struggling with the least common denominator. So maybe you'll say something, I'm still struggling with finding the least common denominator. No, I do not need my instructor to contact me at this time, or you could say, yes, I need some more help. And if you do say yes, you want your instructor, be very specific what you need help with, so I can help you and serve you better. And then once you're done, just make sure you submit the quiz. And then once you submit the quiz, of course, it's going to say 0 out of 5 because I, as an instructor, will have to read through each one of these and manually grade them. So don't panic about them. In fact, they tell you some of the questions have not, well, all the questions have not been graded. So let me know if you have any additional questions on how to complete a reflection survey for a particular week. Um, thank you.